Good morning to you. And this morning, because I got to go to the car dealer and get my car service and check up on some errands about the little damage front end of my car that I had experienced, unfortunately, Saturday night. It's going to be okay. I'm going to make it through somehow. But I want to talk about something that I think is a big to do about nothing on one hand but still very disconcerting on the other hand. And it is kind of both. It's serious, but it's also being made to be more serious than it should be. And I want to give you my take as a, perhaps as an independent minded leftist that I brag of myself to be. Gina Carano, yes. In light of what she said, I would consider her a terrible person. Now, Gina Carano, someone I have not heard of until last week because I guess I'm kind of out of it. I'm out of the loop when it comes to um, present day entertainers. I watch old television programs, old movies. I listen to older music because if I see something new from today that I like in the entertainment industry, it's something that's going to stand out. It's going to be something that's going to grab me, and I'll be like, "Hey!" But as a general rule, I'm going to be 52 in a couple of weeks. I'm still kind of stuck on the golden age of television. So I relate more to 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s situation comedies and dramas than I would anything that comes out on television today, especially in the last 20 years, 25 years rather, with all the reality TV shit that's out there. So, do I know who Gina Carano is? I guess now I do. And I do think she's a terrible person for her comments. She's a mixed martial arts. She's that's what she's known for, and then her career in in acting in various movies and TV programs. Now, I didn't even know that Star Wars had a TV series. Apparently, that was brought to my attention. Um, I'm a Doctor Who fan myself, so you feel free to ask me about Doctor Who. We can have a serious conversation. Um, I even kind of watched the new Doctor Who, but I'm just not as much into it as the old series, and I've been a Doctor Who fan since 1982. So, you want to talk about Doctor Who? We're talking. But Star Wars and most science fiction programs, I'm just not particularly as keen on. And that includes Star Wars. And I saw the original Star Wars in 1977. Saw that in Greenville, North Carolina, 1977. My parents and I, we took a trip to Greenville, which is an hour away from where I grew up, and we spent a day in the town and we watched the movie. And yeah, I appreciate it for what it's worth at the time. But apparently, Gina Carano is politically conservative. Now, I don't give a shit what any entertainer, whether they are in sports or in on television or movies or music or what have you, what their political views are. As a general rule, I could care less. Uh, if they argue for a cogent social democratic worldview, I might give them a listen. But if it's Rosie O'Donnell with her silly, crazy modern day ineffective liberalism, could care less. If it's Chuck Norris with his movement conservative reactionary right wing bullshit politics, I could care less. I really could care less. I'm trying to think of musicians that would fit into that category. when Ben Shapiro was making a big stink out of what was the name of that lady that sang the song WAP? Carly B. I think that's her name. Could care less. I wouldn't buy any of her recordings. Um, Ted Nugent with his really awful, awful extreme right wing politics. Again, I could care less. Honestly, I got better things to do with my life than to worry about what he said and she said in the entertainment industry. Could care less. But, I mean, even if they have views that I disagree with, and apparently, for what I could tell about Gina Carano, I am not particularly too keen on her worldview. I mean, I definitely disagree with her opposition to Black Lives Matter. Um, and and there's a difference between maybe questioning certain things that BML might champion if you have a different perspective on it versus acting like the Black Lives Matter are a black supremacist or the black version of the KKK, which is nonsense. She's transphobic. Now she wants to be, fuddy duddy and have her views, which are ass backwards and reactionary about transgender people. Um, I don't respect her for it, but she's entitled to her views. Anti-mask. Well, she's an idiot if she thinks that walking around without a mask will not get you COVID. And just I don't like wearing a mask, and I wear it as little as possible. But I do wear the mask because I won't wear it at work because I work graveyard shift and there's hardly anybody around me, so there's no reason to wear a mask. But I'm out in the public. I'm wearing a damn mask. I'm wearing a mask when I go just about anywhere. And I'm not being preachy about it. I just think you're a damn fool if you don't wear a mask. In my opinion. Um, the conspiracy theories about Donald Trump winning the election and it was all rigged against him. I don't want to go into that, but if she wants to believe that, she's wrong. But I honestly, I don't care, and I've been called a conspiracy theorist too, even though I was not a fan of Al Gore in 2000. I felt like the George W. Bush and his brother Jeb Bush as the governor of Florida, and Kathleen Harris, who was a Republican Secretary of State for Florida, and a right-leaning Supreme Court in the United States, kind of colluded together to literally steal the election away from Al Gore and Joe Lieberman. Again, I didn't vote for I don't, as a general rule, I don't vote for Democrats or Republicans for president. I just don't. The first two elections of my life, I voted for Michael Dukakis, the Democrat, in 1988, and I voted for Bill Clinton the first time in 1992. And since then, I have voted third party for president. Ralph Nader in 1996, the Green Party. David McReynolds in 2000 for the Socialist Party USA. Once again, Walter Brown for the Socialist Party USA in 2004. Ralph Nader as an independent lefty in 2008. I voted Libertarian in 2012 because there was no real choices on the left in 2012. There was no Green or Socialist to vote for, and I wasn't particularly keen on Obama nor Romney, so I voted for Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party. And in 2016, I voted for Jill Stein of the Green Party, and again Howie Hawkins in 2020 for the Green Party. So again, as far as what's going on with the two major parties, there is a big dog and pony show as far as I'm concerned, and they use wedge issues to drive all of us Americans against each other. This culture war nonsense that we're always engaged upon, they're laughing at all of us. They are. They're laughing at all of us. Um, Tim Black mentioned that several days ago, and was one of his best commentaries I've heard. But let me continue. Yeah, all of that's bad enough, but then she had to go there. She had to go there with with this, you know, as a political conservative, that the suffering and the taunting and the criticism by liberals against conservatives make conservatives as much of a victim as the Jews under Hitler. Really? You're going to go there? You're going to go and say that criticism of conservatism is equivalent to Jews being rounded up and shoved in concentration camps? I mean, it's silly when the liberals will say that about conservatives too. I'm just saying you have to go there. I mean, there's nothing politically darker than the shit that Hitler did. And to go and throw around the Hitler card, it's an insult to the Jewish people that died in the Holocaust. It's not just an insult to the Jewish people. It's also an insult to the LGBTQ community, which also suffered under Hitler. It's an insult to the trade union movement that that were um, suffering under Hitler. It was an insult to the Jehovah Witnesses, who were also persecuted under Hitler. It was an insult to the Gypsies, who were persecuted under Adolf Hitler. It was it was also an insult to the mentally and physically impaired in the United States and around the world. But in Germany, they were also persecuted under Hitler. And it was also an insult to the Social Democrats, the communists, the Trotskyites, the anarchists. In other words, the left wing, who were also persecuted under Hitler. And it makes me mad when I hear conservatives saying, "Oh, y'all, you liberals, all you leftists, you socialists, you're just like Hitler." I feel like I have IQ points subtracted from me. And no, I'm not saying Hitler was a conservative. I am not saying that Hitler was an equivalent to to a political conservative of the what would be the latter half of the 20th century on into the present here. And I will call out on any lefty that will sit there and compare somebody who may want some tax cuts, or somebody who may not be too privy on the idea of universal health care or what have you, or somebody who might like their guns a little bit too much to Hitler. To be like Hitler, I mean, it requires more than even just minor prejudices somebody may have. I mean, it requires taking over actual institutions where people are being rounded up, and all of that. No, I just I find it egregious and insulting, no matter which way the fingers are pointing on the issue of who's being like Hitler. Although I can tell you that as a leftist in America today, I am reminded by Fox News, One America News Network, uh, Newsmax, the Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, and the like, Pat Robertson 700 Club, and these silly people on social media like Ben Shapiro and what's his name, Steven Crowder and Candace Owens and all of these Dave Rubens, telling all of us lefties how evil we are on a day-to-day basis. And and when you sit there and dehumanize your political opponents, that's a recipe for disaster, and it's just not very helpful. Um, I mean, I guess the entertainment industry can do what they want, but cancel culture. Here's the thing: people are going to be like on the right, be like, "Well, there you go, firing somebody for for having a different thought and expressing it. Well, if you're going to have that example, then somebody who actually tries to form a labor union in a workplace should also not be fired because that's their freedom of speech too. Think about it. Anyway, that's what I have to say. I have to get on the road in just a moment. I just thought I'd throw that at all of y'all to see what you think. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you were offended, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform, please utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. Feel free to also subscribe and hit that notification bell. Make this channel grow. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.